Hey guys, it's me. Just wanted to jump on today and talk a little bit about attachments. I'm in my car, as usual. It's about the only place I can get peace and quiet. Anyway, when I was a little girl, my daddy was in the service. You know, he was in the Air Force, and that was during Vietnam and all that time. And we used to move a lot, and like every year. And then even after he got out, he got a job with a company that moved him around too. So probably the first 10 or 11 years of my life, we moved a lot. And I had a sister. She's passed away now. Be 9 years she's been gone. But what was I talking about? Oh, moving around a lot. She was 5.5 years older than me. But when I was a kid, I was pretty energetic, happy-go-lucky, fun, all that good stuff. My sister was a little bit the opposite. She was quiet, and we were always a bit opposite. She was much easier probably to calm down and things like that than I was. I was just off the hook. My favorite thing to do was run around naked, and I would still do that today, but it would not be pretty, so I don't do that anymore. Plus, I have a house full of people, so it wouldn't be good. But when I was little, I was just wild, and that I'm just saying that so that you have a bit of a picture of who I was. So anyway, we moved around a lot, and every time we moved, my sister would be so distraught and so upset and so sad, and I'm going to lose my friends, and I'm going to have to start a new school, and I'm going to have to move and pack my stuff and have a new bedroom. And it was always this big ordeal for her. She just didn't like it. It was really hard on her. And I suppose that's probably more normal than not. But when I was little, I loved to move. It was like the funnest thing for me. And when we were kids, we didn't have to be as cautious about being out in the neighborhood. We always lived on base, and so it was a pretty secure area. And even at 3 and 4 years old, I would be out in the neighborhood playing all day. My sister wasn't quite as gung-ho as I was, but I made tons of friends. Tons of friends. I always knew everybody in the neighborhood. But when we moved, I didn't look at it as a loss. I looked at it as something new to keep my brain busy, I guess. And that's why I want to talk about attachments, because I think that has a lot to do with attachments. And if you're autistic, or if you're raising kids with autism, you might be able to relate to what I'm saying, because I've never had that loss feeling when we moved. I mean, I had great friends. I can remember their names to this day, the kids that I played with in each neighborhood. And they were very important to me. But when we moved, I didn't see it as losing something. I saw it as gaining something. And so it was always fun and exciting for me to move. I loved to move. And before the truck would even unload, my mother didn't know this, but we were talking about it the other day. She's like, if I'd have known that, I would have done something about that. But whenever we get to a new neighborhood, even when I was 4 and 5 years old, the first thing that I would do is not unpack my stuff. I let them worry about that. I didn't care about that stuff. I would go out and map the neighborhood. Now, it's weird to say that because I don't visualize, but I could still map the neighborhood. And I would go out and go door to door and knock on people's doors and say, hi, I'm Sherry. I'm this many years old. What's your name? Do you have kids? Are they boys or girls? How old are they? And can they be my friend? Because we're just moving in. And I would do that the first 2 or 3 days. I would be out mapping the neighborhood, really. And even as an adult, I love maps. Mapping and figuring out what's around me is very important to me. But my point is that I feel like that might be considered like an attachment issue, because it was always, I don't think I've ever cried over losing someone, even to death. And that's weird to me. That's really weird to me. You know, the only times I really cry when I'm losing someone is when I feel like it's my fault, or I feel like they don't understand me and they're leaving me or abandoning me, or there's not any clarity in the situation. You know, I have a lot of exes and people that I've dated and friends from childhood that, of course, with Facebook now, you know, you can reconnect with people. And a lot of my exes are some of my best friends because I care about them and I love them. And so, and certainly my sister was a big, big deal in my life. I loved her. I miss her every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about my sister, because you know, having siblings is something that you just can't replace. You know, I could get angry, I could get happy, I could get stupid, I could get anything, and my sister loved me anyway. And I miss her very, very, very much. I can't even describe how much I miss her. But still yet, I never really cried when she passed away. And I think that's probably because I understood. I didn't need explanation. It wasn't like she just went somewhere and I don't know where she is. You know, death is a part of life, and it's literal and it's blunt, but that's how it is. And that's when she passed away, or when anyone passes away. It's like, it's sad to me, and I miss that person, but I don't grieve and hold on to things like that. And like I say, every day I think about her. Every day I'll be doing something, or the kids will be doing something. The boys that I'm raising are her grandchildren. You know, and I think of her in them every day. I see little glimpses of her face in her own children and all of her grandchildren, just little mannerisms and looks. And it really makes me twinge with missing her. But she's passed away, and that's just part of life. And so it doesn't, you know, I look around when people lose other people that they love and they're just devastated, and I'm like, really, really literal about it. I'm like, well, that's just the way that it is. I also had a baby when I was 16. I'm going to pull out of this gas station. It might get dark because it is nighttime, but I'm getting surrounded by people. So I can pull over here and park, turn this little light on. When I was 16, I got pregnant. I had already been married once and divorced, which I know is strange, but I always wanted a baby. That was my life's goal. And I wasn't able to let go of that goal until just recently, when now I can no longer have children, so it's not really an option. Ooh, I better leave that on. But anyway, when I was 16, I finally got pregnant. I mean, it was a big deal. Even the people at the teen clinic that we used to have, where we could go get birth control and stuff, were like, well, you finally did it. And they were even just, I don't want to say happy, but they were like, you did it. This is what you wanted. And my baby passed away when he was born. And that's probably the worst loss of my life, really. And besides my stepdaughter that I raised 10 years, she's also passed away. And it's hard, you know, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a mama. But still, you know, the way that I dealt with it and the way that it affected me, or the way that I felt like the lack of effect it had on me, was concerning to me at that time, because I didn't cry, I didn't freak out, I didn't lose it. You know, it was just like, okay, well, this is how it is. And I think that part of that is life. It's just life. And so I don't tend to get upset at times when I probably should be upset, and then I do get upset at times when most people probably wouldn't. And I think that those are all related to attachment issues. But it's very strange from my perspective, because I know that I love people and I care about people and I do things for people and I get my shirt off my back for people, and but I think that my attachment to people is just different in the way that it shows up, or the way that my brain processes it. Because all through my life, through my childhood, moving around all the time, my adulthood and relationships and death and The loss of my grandparents. They were around till we were grown. I mean, we spent summers with our grandparents. They were a very important part of our life. And I miss all those people every day, but something in my brain just lives in this today, in this moment. And so I think somewhere in my brain, I'm like, well, I'll see them next week or tomorrow or whenever. And I just sort of don't process it the same way that other people do. But it's not for lack of caring or truly loving a person. It's just looking on till tomorrow and, what is life going to bring into my life tomorrow. But anyway, I just kind of want to touch on attachments a little bit because I know I said something about it before in a previous video. And now sometimes I think about when I was a little kid, especially because kids they don't have filters. You don't learn to have filters until you're an adult. And so I loved my friends, but to me, I was going to make new friends. I wasn't losing friends. I was gaining friends when I moved. And I didn't really think about, because there was nothing I could do about it anyway. I mean, we're going to move. There's no reason to get upset about it. And I remember when my sister passed away, Gavin was 8. And he's definitely on the spectrum. And his sister, Aaliyah, which you may see in some videos here and there, she's 18 now, so she's out on her own somewhere. But Aaliyah would just crying and crying and crying because she was very close to her nanny. She lived with her at the time. She was 9 or 10, around in that age. And I remember Gavin saying to Aaliyah, you don't have to cry. She's, all you have to do is think about the good things and, you don't have to cry about it. It's just the way that it is. And I was watching him say that to her, and I was thinking, yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. It's like, it's sad, it's bad, it's horrible, it's a loss. It's life-changing, really. I mean, we grew up together. That was my sister, and I only have one sibling. Not like there was another one to choose from. And she was gone, and I can't get her back. But I have to keep going forward because that's the way life is. People die. Eventually I'll die. Eventually my parents will die. Eventually everyone dies. That's a part of life. And it's, to me, just a literal, it's not a lack of caring, it's a lack of, maybe it's just a lack of understanding, or I don't know. But anyway, that's a little bit about my attachments, or lack thereof. Hope everyone's having a great week. Be Friday tomorrow. And that's good for a lot of people. It's pouring down rain here from the hurricane that hit in New Orleans and down in that area. So anyway, I don't know what my next topic will be, but I'll think of something. Peace out. Bye.